Hello again, everyone. So I'm going to be showing you some updates to the combat system that I've been working on and finally got done. So basically what I've been trying to implement is a type of targeting system for the player when they're in combat. So, you press a button and it targets the enemy. So I'll just show you right here. There's a slime. I will target it, and there we go. Now the player has target locked onto this slime enemy right here, essentially. And let me make this full screen so that you can see it better. Okay, so there's the enemy, target locked. There's a couple things going on. Obviously the player is now, regardless of the direction that they are moving, they are looking straight at the enemy at all times. So that's a useful little feature, I think, that I really wanted to implement. It just makes the combat a bit more intuitive for the player, in my opinion. There's also this yellow type of glow UI thing that happens underneath the enemy that the player is currently targeting. So that also is quite useful, especially if the enemy is in like a darker area. It's got a little bit of a glow to it, so it'll really help the player to know where the enemy is that they're trying to fight. But yeah, that is it. However, just to kind of give you an idea of some of the issues that I had implementing it, is when the player is targeting an enemy like this, obviously there's like some type of radius here that is able to detect the enemies that are inside of it. So one of probably the hardest thing I had to figure out was making sure that it's selecting the enemy that is closest to the player rather than just a random enemy that is in there, because I hadn't really even thought about this when I was implementing it. But obviously if there's multiple enemies in here, I don't really want to be targeting the enemy that's farther away when I target, so this kind of helps with that. So even though both these enemies are technically in range, because this one's closer, that one gets targeted, which is just a little extra help for the player. And the other thing I guess I should mention is that the UI thing, I hadn't really even thought about that when I was beginning to start work on this. But obviously it's a good idea to have some type of UI, whether it's an indicator above them or in this case this circle. It's just a good idea to have some type of indication that, okay, this is the enemy that's being targeted. The player is obviously looking at them, but in my opinion that's not quite enough. It's working pretty good. I like it. Some updates that I'll probably try to implement, or at least would be a good idea in my opinion, would be making sure that the player has the ability to cycle through different enemies. So currently, right now, how I have it set up, the player can just either target or untarget the enemy. So it'd be probably a good idea to have some type of way to, if there's multiple enemies within range, cycle through the different targets if the player wanted to. And then, probably would be good to have some type of block mechanism that the player could do in order to just reduce any damage. Obviously they won't be able to attack when they're blocking, but it would be a decent way to reduce the damage that some of the enemies do. And then one thing that I probably am going to implement, because I like, is just an ability for the player to dodge roll. So if there's like an enemy attacking, the player can time it right and then dodge out of the way. So that would be something I would like to implement, but we'll see. That's it for the video though. If you liked the video, then go ahead and leave a like. I'd appreciate it. If you have any comments or suggestions for me, go ahead and leave a comment as well. I'm all ears. So yeah, just let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.